Good morning. A minor cabinet reshuffle is confirmed during a cabinet meeting on Tuesday. Personnel changes within the presidential office is also expected. IS demands a $200 million ransom for two Japanese nationals held captive. Japan's prime minister condemns acts of terrorism but is determined to secure their release. A few culture spots for tourists to experience everything from Korean traditional culture to K-pop culture. Coming up on Seoul. And ready to update and upgrade your office hardware. We have a few high-tech options for you on Korea Today, Wednesday, January 21st, 2015.
From Arirang News, this is Korea Today.
And thank you for joining us on this Wednesday morning. I'm Kim Young alongside Jin Ju and Kim Min-jung.
Good morning, everyone. So one of the most happening places right now is this little town tucked away in Switzerland called Davos. And some 40 heads of state and some 2,500 leaders from business and societies from around the world have gathered to discuss a host of pressing global issues in a powwow session.
And in particular, they will be seeking ways to work towards a full economic recovery, tackling the challenges facing the global economy. This issues such as terrorism and financial uncertainties and many more.
That's right. We'll be hearing more about that from Arirang News' Song Ji-sun joining us on Korea Today later this morning. But first, we'll jump to our top story for this Wednesday morning. In the midst of her lowest approval rating since taking office, President Park Geun-hye announced a partial reshuffle of her cabinet. During Tuesday's cabinet meeting, the Korean president did not elaborate directly on her reshuffle plan, but personnel changes within the presidential office to boost efficiency within her administration was mentioned.
청와대 조직도 일부 개편을 통해서 업무의 효율성을 높이고 심기일전에 일할 수 있도록 하고 지금 공석으로 있는 해양수산부 장관 등 꼭 필요한 소폭 개각을 통해서 새롭게 출발하는 계기로 삼고자 합니다.
The president did confirm that a new maritime minister is needed, while also adding that focus on revitalizing the economy in the new year would be imperative as well. A timetable was not given, but it is widely expected to occur before the Lunar New Year holidays next month. President Park's approval ratings hit an all-time low of 35% amid public criticism over administrative disorder surrounding leaked documents from the presidential office.
North Korea says it is ready to openly discuss a host of issues standing in the way of a better inter-Korean relationship, hinting at the possibility of resuming dialogue with the South. Pyongyang's official Korean Central News Agency said high-level officials, including Kim Yang-gun, a key official who had suggested resuming dialogue when visiting the South back in October, gathered for a meeting on Tuesday and pledged to work towards improving relations with Seoul. In a statement adopted at the end of the meeting, Pyongyang said the risks of war should be eliminated on the Korean peninsula, calling on the South to stop the dissemination of anti-North Korea propaganda leaflets by activists and seize the Seoul-Washington joint military drills. The communist state also urged the U.S. to stop instigating confrontation between the two Koreas and called for a shift in its policy direction.
And South Korea's top economic policymaker says Korea will capitalize on free trade agreements signed with countries such as China and expand further pacts with countries in the Middle East, Latin America, and Central Asia. During the first meeting of this year's foreign economy-related ministers on Tuesday, Finance Minister Choi Kyung-hwan said the agreements will be utilized to strengthen Korea against sudden external shocks and help local companies expand into untapped overseas markets. Choi stressed that steps to ensure the signing of mega FTAs, such as the U.S.-led Trans-Pacific Partnership, will not compromise national interests. A new government policy roadmap to help expand corporate presence in emerging markets is also expected to be announced next month.
Now, every year, the small alpine city of Davos in Switzerland receives a host of VIPs from around the world for the World Economic Forum. This year, the official session of the event will kick off on Wednesday local time, and Arirang News' Song Ji-san joins us in the studio to give us a preview of this year's forum. Good morning, Ji-san.
Morning, Jinju. It's a critical year, and this year the world's leaders will be tested like never before as the global economy is recovering at an uneven rate. And couple that with financial uncertainties as well as regional conflicts, and that with clashes following the Charlie Hebdo terror attacks in France. All those are weighing on those flying into Davos. This year's World Economic Forum will draw some 40 heads of state, including German Chancellor Angela Merkel, French President François Hollande, and Chinese Premier Li Keqiang. Davos will also host 2,500 business and society leaders, and that, of course, includes the CEOs of major companies like Microsoft founder Bill Gates and Eric Schmidt of Google, among many others.
Some big names there, and you did briefly mention some of them, but what are the topics that are high on the agenda this year?
Well, the title of this year's WEF is The New Global Context, which is being held against the backdrop of global economy facing multiple challenges. Now, these issues include the resolution of geopolitical crisis in the wake of conflicts in Ukraine and Russia, as well as the Middle East and the rise of the Islamic states. Now, the program also includes discussions on pandemics and health after Ebola took the lives of thousands of West Africans and some Western aid workers.
We have to deal with the issues to foster the growth on a global level. We have to deal with the challenges we see on the geopolitical level, for example, in Europe, in the Eurozone, but as well as the crisis in the Ukraine. We have also to deal with the Middle East issues, IS, Middle East, terrorism in North Africa. And we have to talk about South China Sea.
Now, there are many sessions, and over the 280 sessions scheduled throughout Saturday, we can also be part of it because many of these are televised live or through webcasts, so we can also take part at the comfort of our homes.
So let's start with day one. What are some of the events that we would want to keep our eyes on?
Well, last to remember that President Park Geun-hye gave a keynote speech. This year is going to be China. Its Chinese Premier Li Keqiang will be giving a keynote speech on Wednesday on this opening plenary session. He will also mention about the growth, which is slowing down in Beijing. And this is a very important one to keep an eye on because it's the first appearance by a Chinese leader in 6 years since 2009. Now, his remarks come just one day after China's growth figures were released on Tuesday. China's economy grew at its slowest pace in 24 years last year, missing the government's goal by 0.1 of a percentage point at 7.4%. Now at Davos, he will talk not just about the growth of China, but also about other emerging economies. And also keep an eye on IMF Chief Christine Lagarde and other economists who will discuss the results of quantitative easing on the second day. And on the last day of the forum, look out for the Global Economic Outlook and the 2015 agenda, in which the World Bank President Kim Yong-kim and UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon will take part. Now, the IMF on Tuesday lowered its forecast for global economic outlook in 2015 to 3.5%, calling on governments to pursue structural reforms to support growth. So that's another point on what the IMF chief will ask on the government policymakers to join the move.
So you mentioned it before, but last year it was President Park Geun-hye who attended the Davos Forum, but this year it will be Foreign Minister Yoon Byung-se, and I understand that he will be promoting South Korea's unification initiatives and policies during his stay there.
Right. Now, just days after the foreign ministries, another related minister gave a report to the government, to the Blue House in Cheongwade, to the president. He will now fly to Davos to drive to explain about the government's unification drive in Davos Forum. Now, Seoul's unification policy titled Unified Korea and Infinite Possibilities will be presented on Thursday's Korea Night hosted by the Federation of Korean Businesses. Yoon there will lay out Seoul's vision for unification, as this year marks the 70th anniversary of Inter-Korean division, and he will also take part as panel for other sessions on geopolitical tension. Now, dozens of Korean businessmen are also heading to Davos to participate in this Korean night. And although the size of the delegation has been smaller than last year, when President Park Geun-hye, as I said, gave a keynote speech in last year's forum. And those lists include about 30 CEOs of mostly from conglomerate affiliates like Hyundai Motor Company and Hanwha, as well as SK Groups.
And I also heard that they'll be serving both South and North Korean dishes and traditional wine at the dinner during this Korean night. So definitely a lot to look forward to this week. Thank you, Jason, for that report this morning.
Anytime.
Good morning. It's time to run through the front pages of your newspapers now. On most of the local dailies this morning is an image of President Park Geun-hye having her first tea time with her senior aides prior to yesterday's cabinet meeting. Let's begin at the nation's top office today and take a look at 동아일보. Look at this image, and the picture is called President Park's first tea time with the cabinet. So before starting Tuesday's cabinet meeting, the president had a brief but formal tea time with the cabinet for the first time since she took office 2 years ago. And the caption explains that she held talks with officials for some 10 minutes on relatively light issues like quitting smoking. This in an attempt to contain criticism about her lack of communication with officials. Now let's move on to a side story on 조선일보. This one is regarding the latest controversy over daycare centers, and the headline says laws to improve daycare centers stuck at lobbying stage since public outrage has grown in recent days following the disclosure of CCTV footage of a teacher striking a 4-year-old girl at a daycare center in Incheon west of Seoul. The government has been unveiling plans to toughen punishment of child abuse. Take a look at the sub-headlines. The plans include requiring all daycare centers to install CCTV cameras, as well as a system of whistleblowing from within the facilities. However, due to opposition by owners and directors of the nursery schools, the guidelines have fallen through before getting past at plenary sessions, and this isn't the first time. The paper stresses that many of the bills related to the safety of children often fall through after being distorted via lobbying and pressure by facility authorities. Now going on to another big controversial issue on 중앙일보, and this says aftermath of year-end tax settlement regulations, retirement savings and donations shrink. Now, Finance Minister Choi Kyung-hwan yesterday made a public apology for tax increases that have come about because of a switch in the tax system last year, and for the government's assurances that the middle class wouldn't suffer, which proved to be untrue. If we take a look at this graph inserted here, on top of that, the daily shows that since the changes have been made, the number of subscribers to retirement savings programs has drastically decreased by 70,000 people in a year's time since September of 2013. Meanwhile, the scale of participants making donations has also taken a downturn from 2011 onwards, as you can see here, with the growth since 2006 being steady. And finally, we'll take a look at the economic business paper here, the Korea Economic Daily. And this one says executives earning salary of over $460,000 US required to reveal expense details. If we take a closer look at the article, the government is pushing to have some 1,700 listed companies publicly notify the government of their executives' expense details, as well as their personal goals and specific levels or rates of accomplishment, particularly regarding their bonuses. However, businesses are resisting, claiming that such moves are excessive interventions on their personnel, as well as a request to expose corporate secrets. Now, that was a look at our local headlines this Wednesday, and following are the stock numbers from Tuesday.
Time now to get a check on the weather on this hump day.
Yep, that's right. It seems that the temperatures have been quite warm for this time, but we do always have that gotsem chui, or the cold that is
That's
jealous
more like
of the
in
blooming
February
flowers, right?
or March.
March or so, right? But I do believe that there's going to be another cold front that comes through. We'll get a check on today's weather with a very warm Chun Song-cho, who's dressed like it's fall.
Good morning to you, Song-cho.
Good morning to you guys. Yang and Minjang. I'm reporting live from Yeouido Hangang Park. Unseasonably warm conditions continue today with temperatures hovering above freezing all day. Yesterday was Daehan, as we all know, the last one of the 24 seasonal divisions here in Korea. And it's like as if we're heading right into spring already if we just look at the temperatures. But then we have snow coming our way to make us forget all about that. It's first going to start off with Jeju as rain in the next couple of hours, gradually stretching all across the nation by tonight and turning to snow where temperatures are colder. Eastern Gangwon-do province is facing an exceptional amount of snowfall, up to 10 centimeters in most parts and even 15 centimeters in the mountainous areas all in one day. People there should take precautionary actions to brace themselves for the heavy snow to come. For the rest of the nation, it'll be just mostly about 1 centimeter of light flurries until next morning. And then for the southern regions where conditions are a little bit warmer, from 5 to 20 millimeters of showers are in the forecast. And with that, let's take a closer look at today's temperature readings around the nation. Today afternoon will be relatively comfortable and mild, with highs ranging from 5 in Seoul and Gangneung to 10 degrees Celsius in Jeju. This is all for me with the weather forecast. Back to the studio, Minjang.
This time, it's Japanese hostages. The Islamic State group has released a video demanding a $200 million ransom in exchange for the lives of 2 Japanese men. We'll check in with our Eunice Kim for the latest on this and other global stories. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
This is the first time the group is demanding money in these videos, and they've given Tokyo 72 hours to cough it up.
That's right, Minjung. But what is unclear is when that 72 hours begins, since the video was uploaded online and apparently not directly sent to the Tokyo government. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has made the return of the hostages a priority while calling the act unforgivable.
It is an unacceptable act to threaten us in exchange for human lives, and I feel angry about it. I strongly urge them to immediately release the hostages without harming them. We will continue to contribute to the regional peace and stability in cooperation with the global community. It is an inevitable course for us, and there will be no change to it.
The video shows 47-year-old Kenji Goto, a respected freelance journalist in Japan on the left there, and 42-year-old Haruna Yukawa, who owns a private security company. The masked militant blames the kidnapping on Prime Minister Abe's recent pledge of $200 million to, quote, kill our women and children. Abe recently pledged the sum during his 6-day visit to the Middle East for non-military aid to help Syrians displaced by the conflict, as well as the Iraqi government. Now, State Minister for Foreign Affairs Yasuhide Nakayama has arrived in Jordan to oversee local operations as a task force is established at the Prime Minister's office. Japanese officials also say they are working to verify the authenticity of that video, though Japanese media are reporting that it could have been manipulated, given that the shadow of the 2 hostages appeared to be angled in different directions. Moving on to other news now. Is it a coup d'etat or is it not? A shaky ceasefire was shattered in Yemen overnight after Houthi rebels stormed the presidential palace and the residence of the country's embattled president in the capital of Sana'a. President Abed Rabo Mansour Hadi was reported to be home when it was heavily shelled, though he is said to be safe. A commander who guards the palace described the sweep as a coup, saying the rebels looted the palace palace's arms depot. Yemen's information minister also called it a coup, adding the president no longer had control over the country. It wasn't clear, however, whether the Houthi rebels themselves saw their strike as a government overthrow. On the group's TV network, leader Abdel Malek el-Houthi said all options were open, calling for the president to speed up implementation of a UN-brokered peace deal that grants the Shiite rebels more power. The Houthis have been fighting the Sunni-majority government for more than a decade now and moved into the country's capital from their traditional strongholds back in September.
And before we let you go, let's get a quick update on the AirAsia investigations. Indonesian authorities are now poring over the contents of the retrieved black boxes. What do we know so far?
Well, on Tuesday, the country's transport minister said the flight 8501 had climbed at super fast speeds in the final moments before stalling. Citing radar data, the minister told a parliamentary hearing the Airbus had ascended at a speed of 6,000 feet per minute. That is faster than a fighter jet would climb. He said the commercial aircraft was designed to fly at an average speed of between 1,000 and 2,000 feet per minute. You'll remember the pilot of that Singapore-bound plane had requested to climb to a higher elevation to avoid big storm clouds. Authorities have also since ruled out terrorism as a possible cause of the December 28th crash. Only 53 bodies have been recovered so far, leaving more than 100 still missing, Min-jung.
Still more questions than answers. It's been about a month since the crash.
And it will probably take several more months before we have the full picture.
All right, well, do keep us posted on that. Thank you, Eunice.
Sure thing.
And stay with us on Korea Today. We'll take you to cultural spaces in Seoul where you can delight your senses and get a hands-on experience on current trends as well as Korean traditions. You will be amused, if not downright blown away, so don't go away.
Pansori is often referred to as Korea's own version of opera, and just like the opera is to Italy, the pansori has been a decades and centuries old tradition. It has a time lapse going back hundreds of years, actually not centuries, and we're going to be talking about this because this is an art form that's slowly having an uncertain future because there are less and less students taking on the art, and joining us is our very own Lee Myun-hee to talk more about that. Good morning.
Good morning, Yang. Well, you gave it all away. Well, pansori, I'm sure you're very familiar with it, as are most people in Korea. As pansori is a centuries-old, like I mentioned, a centuries-old Korean tradition of musical storytelling that involves a vocalist and a drummer. Well, in 2008, it was inscribed on the UNESCO list of intangible cultural heritage of humanity, and sadly, the number of pansori masters has been declining of recent days, but there are a few students who are trying to change that. I have that report. Take a look.
Some say it's never too early to begin training. At the young age of 8, these little girls have begun a journey unfamiliar to most kids their age. Their ultimate goal is to become a pansori master. To make sure they get there, they've been taken under the wing of one of Korea's leading pansori masters, an effort aimed at producing a new generation of performers. But it's the passion of these young artists that makes the biggest impression.
As the drum is being played and I hear the voices of others and my mood is lifted, sometimes I even want to dance.
At the start of the new year, these students and others, all under the guidance of Master Cho So-nyo, entered an intense training camp for 15 days, where they can learn all about the traditional art of pansori. Becoming a pansori master is no easy task. It may be below zero outside on a cold winter morning, but these students are up for the challenge.
Singing outside, I can hear our voices, but the sound is also echoed and amplified. This wide, open environment is very inspiring.
And who better to herd the young fledglings than Cho So-nyo, a pansori master who has even been declared an intangible cultural asset herself for her expert knowledge of Chunyang, one of the songs in the pansori repertoire.
It's comforting to be able to study pansori with all these students. Hopefully they will continue to become great pansori masters.
Although these young girls have dedicated themselves to pansori, The harsh reality is that in the modern day, the number of those looking to learn the art has decreased dramatically, putting at risk the future of this age-old Korean tradition. Still, it's a beautiful part of Korea's culture, and we hope they carry forward for generations to come.
So the main reason behind the risk that Pansori is facing is the lack of students taking this art.
Right, the lack of attention, but really rapid modernization has been cited as probably the core reason why Pansori really has been on the decline. Pansori was originally an oral tradition that was passed down through the generations verbally, and nowadays in such a technology, advanced era, we are seeing less attention being put on that. But in 1964, it was inscribed as a national intangible cultural property, and because of that, funding did go into Pansori, which is probably why we still see it to this day.
Also, I think it has to be the number of people who are interested in Pansori and going to those concerts and venues to provide a way of living for people who do study the art and perform the art.
Right, exactly.
Right now, Pansori, like every music or every art form, it has gone through its own set of evolution. So the Pansori of today is quite different from the Pansori of the past.
Right, so Pansori was an impromptu performance, and it could go on even up to 8 hours, and really that was the beauty of it. The singer was able to throw out these literary expressions in a very, nonchalant, very free manner. And that was really the core of it. But they're saying that nowadays Pansori performers, the younger generations, they don't have this improvisational skill. And so because of that, some of the Pansori, the repertoire behind Pansori is being taken away. And so hopefully they will continue to raise Pansori, and next generation, the singers that you just saw, they have the future of Pansori in their hands. So we wish them all the luck.
So maybe Pansori kind of has some of the similar traits as a freestyle rap, maybe some hip-hop artists could get together with some Pansori artists and create something good.
Maybe we'll see some collaborations, right?
All right, well, before you go, do you know what an overhead projector is?
An overhead projector, I am not familiar. You have to fill me in with that one.
Well, I was speaking to one of our editors this morning about including that in the bit in our teaser for the Hot Items segment, and she said that's just way too ancient, right? And if you're like me, then you're going to be blown away by the items that we're going to be seeing later on our Hot Items with Jessie Day joining us. We'll show you some office supplies and work accessories that are getting smarter these days. A smart pen, virtual mouse, and a multitasking laser pointer. Find out what they do and how they work on Hot Items.
Now, K-pop idol star Suji's mobile phone case is all the buzz online, and I heard that this case has a very special meaning.
That's right. The case isn't only pretty, but the proceeds go to the victims of wartime sexual slavery. We'll find out more with our Seoul, who joins us right here. Good morning.
Good morning. So singer-actress Suji, she's one of the hottest idols at the moment. So anything that she, wears, uses or carries is bound to get a lot of attention. But this one more so because, as you mentioned, it has special meaning. So this is Suji entering through the Incheon International Airport. You can see a bit of the phone case here. Now, online users, if they're interested in something, they will hunt it down, they will track it down, and they did so with this, and they found that this is the exact same model. A lot of flowers. Now, what's special about this is that it's based on a pressed flower artwork by the late Miss Shin Da-ryun, who is a victim of Japanese military sexual enslavement of women. And you can see these flowers, very pretty, isn't it?
Very delicate.
And what's the neat thing about this is that these are some of the other colors available. 5% of all proceeds will go towards helping surviving victims and their cause.
Are there any left for us to buy?
Well, because of the Suzy effect, it's all sold out. But if you order now, they will start shipping from February 5th.
Oh, okay. Another item you cannot get your hands on. The list goes on.
But I heard they are printing more, they're making more, so it's not like the honey butter chips. Now, meanwhile, over in downtown Seoul yesterday, K-pop ballad duo Davichi held a special surprise event for their fans. So a day ahead of releasing their 4th mini album titled Davichi Hug, they held a free hug event in Myeongdong. Within minutes of Davichi's appearance, around 800 people swarmed around the famous duo, who said that they wanted to return some of the love that they had received over the last 8 years of their career. And their mini album Davichi Hug will be released later today at noon, Korea time. And staying on the entertainment front, filmmaker Kim Ki-deok's latest film titled Made in China has been invited to the 44th Rotterdam International Film Festival. Now, Made in China, it's about a Chinese eel farmer who crosses illegally to Korea to prove that his eel exports are safe for consumption. Wrapping up, Minjung, I know this is a pet peeve of yours. It's quite common to get shocks when you enter in and out of cars, and it gets worse during winter time because the air is dry. So a lot of people have been looking up ways to prevent this. So Minjung, listen up.
I'm all ears.
So static electricity, it happens when materials rub against each other. Charges build up, one becomes positively charged and the other becomes negatively charged. And the minute you touch a conductor like your car door, electrons will jump through your fingertips, causing that zap. So how to prevent this? Before you enter your car, tap the body of your car with your car keys or a piece of coin so that the charge will jump through the piece of metal and not your fingertips. Likewise, before you exit your car, touch the body of your car for a few seconds so that the charge is dissipated so that you don't get the zap.
You know what? I have a better idea. Close the door through the window. I just use the window.
Yeah, you told me that you do that.
Yeah, it looks awkward. It looks weird, but I just go ahead and push the window to close the door. People have teased me about it.
Because the glass is less conductive than metal. But I guess the glass, you have to be careful that you don't, break it.
And also, it becomes dirty after a while.
The fingerprints.
With all the fingerprints. But anyhow, thank you for that tip.
And a good Wednesday morning to you all as we kick things off with the 2018 Pyeongchang Winter Games as the organizing committee held a luncheon on Tuesday and discussed their plans in making this Winter Olympics happen. Now, admitting to some difficulties due to funding issues and construction delays, the Secretary General of the Pyeongchang 2018 organizing committee, Kwak Young-jin, stated that they are pressed for time in making this event happen in 2018. But he was optimistic in the end as he stated that a number of sponsorship deals are near and that the organizing committee will speed things up. Now, the organizers have generated no income in 2013 and just 3.5 billion won, or roughly $3.2 million, still falling short of its target in 2014. Now, last Saturday, Nexen hero shortstop Kang Jong-ho officially became the first KBO position player to sign with a major league team, and it seems like his former teammate is now looking to follow his footsteps in trying to become the second KBO position player to play in the majors. In an interview at the Nexen Hero Spring Camp in Arizona, Nexen first baseman Park Byung-ho expressed his desire to play in the majors after the 2015 season, as the major league scouts are expected to check him out throughout the 2015 season. Now, a two-time KBO MVP, Park hit an incredible 120 home runs in the past 3 seasons in the KBO, as MLB.com stated that interest in Park will rise if Kang Jong-ho does well in his rookie season with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now, I'm not a big fan of winter, which is why I'm looking forward to the warmer months like June. And if you're a football fan, you'll be looking forward to June 14th because Manchester United and Bayern Munich is set for another Legends match on that day. But of course, the big question for all the Korean football fans is whether or not former United midfielder Park Ji-sung will be able to play in the Legends match. Now, although he might not be the same level as Paul Scholes or Phil Neville, Park Ji-sung was big enough to be named the team's ambassador last year. Now, with both teams set to announce the roster soon, fans hope to see Park Ji-sung wear his United jersey one more time. Now, I've always enjoyed playing bowling, just that I was never that good. But the Korean men's bowling team is, as they swept the two-man bowling competition during the 2015 Asian Bowling Championship. Now, with the 23rd Asian Bowling Championship currently taking place in Thailand, the Korean men's two-person bowling team swept the event, winning all 3 medals. Now, this including the duo of Choi Bo-gum and Park Jong-woo, who set a new Asian record, scoring 2,834 points in 6 games, winning the gold medal for the 2nd straight year. And that's going to wrap it up for me. This has been SJ. Have a great rest of the day and see you guys again for your sports needs.
In tourism, too, Korea has been quickly on the rise, and a lot of it does have to do with Korean pop music as well as K-dramas. And I think today's Seoul segment is going to be rather interesting for those K-pop fans as well as K-culture fans. And joining us is Joey Albright. Good morning.
Good morning, Joey.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. So today we're going to talk about some cultural experience places that will kind of shock you a little bit. These places are places where you can learn the special trends in Seoul, as well as learn more about cultural experiences in Korea. So let's take a look at the video. I paid a visit to Shinshan, the Street of the Young, for a special cultural experience. Playbus is located on...
We're here at the Shincheon Playbus, located in Shincheon. As you can see, it's a headphone-wearing bus. It's red, it's a used bus, and it's a double-decker.
Playbus is located on Yeonseo Street of Shincheon. It's a music and nostalgia-themed bus where people can see what Shincheon looked like in the past and listen to music of the old days. Since the old double-decker took root on the Yeonseo Street, Playbus quickly became a landmark of Shincheon. Inside the peculiar exterior is a cultural space where people of all ages can enjoy Korean music from the 70s to those of the present-day Indian musicians.
I can focus on the music more than usual when listening to CDs. This is my first time here, and I think I'll be coming here a lot.
CDs, what's that?
Well, I was going to say that makes two of us. I love CDs and CD players.
Covering the walls are some 150 sleeves of black and white photos depicting the old Shincheon station and various other cultural areas. A DJ could be seen.
So this is really cool. You can see Shincheon's past and future in this place. You can see old photos, listen to old music, but at the exact same time, you can look outside and see what it's become today. It's really amazing.
And the LPs.
A DJ could be seen in the DJ booth box hosting a live radio show for the locals and tourists.
Can people listen
Hello,
to it?
I'm Joey. Thank you for having us in your studio. This is quite nice. You have a nice view of Shincheon. It is designed so that people can experience what it's like to be a DJ as a DJ of the day.
Is this your music selection?
Yes. The next cultural space I visited was the hottest place in Dongdaemun these days, the K-pop hologram concert.
We're here at the K-Live elevator located in Lotte Fitten in Dongdaemun, where we get to meet some pop stars. Let's go take a look inside.
K-Live is a place where you can watch performances of Hallyu stars and 3D hologram video, bringing together Korea, pop, and digital technology. K-Live is fast becoming a mecca of the Korean way, providing new sights and experiences. Just outside the hologram concert are various digital playgrounds. There's even a special lens that reveals hidden videos that are not visible to the naked eye.
Wow.
There's also a place where you can share memorable moments with the stars.
So this is a place where you can take photographs with stars without actually having to meet them in person. Let's try.
I also took photos with the stars in various concepts and poses. You can also have fun experiences inside the concert hall as well. Photos taken at the photo zone are put together with those of the stars and displayed on the concert hall screen. The point here is to make funny faces. Once the performance started, high-resolution video with images as sharp as the real deal filled the 270-degree panorama view. Top idol groups' mesmerizing performances on top of all that made it seem like a real concert.
Are those like hologram images?
That can't be. That's too real.
The performance was a 40-minute long experience that finished in a flash, but without ever getting boring once.
It's almost like a mini concert.
Kind of reminds me of Captain EO, Michael Jackson, remember that?
진짜 같았어요.
실제 같았고.
안 왔으면 후회할 뻔했어요.
The last destination was Maru, a complex cultural space located in Insadong. Insadong initially started out as an antique arts market in the 30s, and today is one of the places in Seoul most visited by foreign tourists.
We're here at Insadong Maru, and this is a traditional market. You can find many traditional handmade items, clothing, hats, anything you can think of. It's probably handmade, and it's probably going to be made here. A lot of new designs and a lot of unique things. Let's go take a look inside.
Insadong Maru was inspired by the Maru of Hanok, which is similar to a living room. That's what the place was named after as well. Maru consists of an old 4-story building and a new 7-story building, currently housing some 60 traditional craft, design, and fashion shops, as well as Korean foods and an exhibition space. On weekends, Yeonhwa Dance Troupe performs traditional Korean dances or music in the big hall on the 2nd floor. Aside from the performances, Insadong Maru also provides various craft lessons. Making bookmarks with dried flowers is said to be one of the most popular craft experiences. The dried hydrangea was really beautiful. You can now make accessories such as bracelets and hair ties simply by using the traditional knot tying craft. It only takes about 10 minutes to make one hair tie.
Wow. Beautiful too.
It's not as hard as I thought. This feels more meaningful because I made it myself.
Artists were painting caricatures.
So he's currently drawing the Korea Today MC staff, and you guys should expect good things.
Are you sure?
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Which is a type of art that captures unique features of every person.
Hey.
I'm
not pleased already.
I'm gonna have to speak to that guy.
I was really impressed about how unique it looks.
Are you laughing at me, Joey?
Maybe.
Seoul is truly an amazing modern meets traditional city. I had such an amazing time today. You guys go ahead and try to experience it.
I also wrote a card and hung it on the wishing tree at the Maru, and so I wrapped up my special day of culture here in Seoul.
Korea Today was here. That's not a wish. It's a fact.
That's true.
And you brought with you the horrendous picture.
I'm not happy with this picture.
What do you have against us?
I think I'll have to talk with that cartoonist.
If you could just hold it up a little bit. I mean, I do not see the resemblance. Maybe you could we hold it so maybe our viewers
Are my eyes that far apart?
No.
What did they do with you, Jinju?
I don't know. Maybe I look like that.
They're known for ugly caricatures, so let's just take some comfort in that ugliness.
Exactly. Well, that's what they're known as in Insadong, yeah?
And Joey also brought us some bookmark and a clip.
They're prettier than the caricatures for sure.
I'm gonna keep this, but not the caricature.
Wow, this is a pin too. What are some of the other hot spots other than the Maru and some interesting spots that you checked out?
Well, at Insadong Maru, you can not only make characters as you've seen and make these little beautiful designs, but you can also try some traditional hanshik and some nice snacks, Korean snacks at the Korean dessert shop. Another place you can go that's going to be opening up in March at this Maru is a Korean kimchi museum, and you can learn to make your own kimchi there.
All right.
And the hologram performances was really realistic. And the one we saw in the report was a collaboration with YG Entertainment, but I also heard that SM Entertainment has set up a venue in Gangnam-gu district similar to that.
It's in COEX, and one of the brilliant things about it is it's not only concerts, but you can also do musical performances as well. Like what is it called? Musical holograms. It's really unique. So.
Oh, wow. They look so real.
Of course, Kalive, where I visited, is the country's first hologram performance place. But this is, I think, going to be unique next time I go as well. So.
Wow, it's really surreal
Speechless about the caricatures right now.
I keep on looking at it.
We're
Do
shocked,
I really
truly
look
shocked.
like this?
All right, thank you so much, Joey, but not for the pictures, not for the caricatures. Don't do that ever again.
I want to take a picture of that.
Sure.
Thank you.
guys.
Yep.
Do you know what an overhead projector is?
Yes.
Okay, you remember what that is,
yes,
right?
I do.
And these are these items that you're going to show us today is generations ahead of that, right?
Absolutely.
And
this is
Jesse
new.
Day joins us to talk about our hot items for today. Sorry about that.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning. And we are talking about hot items that combine smart technology along with kind of office stationery, as well as some innovative new ways to use a mouse pointer that you may never have imagined before. So why don't we start with the first thing. Now here's what looks like a regular notepad with a regular pen. However, this is no ordinary pen. This is the Neo Smart Pen N2. And what it does is it allows me to take notes on this notepad right here. And at the same time, it instantly transfers everything I'm writing to an application on a smart device.
And that little pen is the only thing that you need, plus an application, right?
That's absolutely right. You can download the Neo Notes application. Very easy, very convenient. So why don't you hold that up and I'll write something on here.
Let's get our cameras on this.
I'm going to write my to-do list for today. And
Okay,
here
see
you
how
can
it's
see
launching.
it coming up. Yeah, it's launching right now. So I'm going to write, oh, not working for 1 second here.
Okay, sometimes this happens.
Yep. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Let's get that close up again.
Yeah. Let's write.
There it is.
Yeah.
And this is as it's happening, writing on the paper, and it's the combination of the technology embedded into the pen as well as the technology embedded into the paper.
That's absolutely right. So the paper itself has what is called encodes. So it's got various codes that allow you to do things using the pad as well. For example, it's got a little icon in the upper corner right here, which shows an envelope. So when you click on that, it automatically goes to email mode. You can see right here. So when it goes to email mode, you can automatically send whatever notes you've made through email.
Let's try that. All you have to do is actually check it, right? I mean, so this is actually very useful, especially if you like to take notes on paper, because you get to take notes on paper. It makes an automatic backup on file, and you could email it to yourself to save.
Absolutely, and the way it works is very cool. It's got a built-in camera in the pen that takes pictures at 120 frames per second, so it automatically transfers that over to the paper in real time. Very nice. Also, it's the world's lightest smart pen today at around 22 grams, so very light. So why don't we take a look at a video clip to explain a little bit more about this smart pen.
Okay.
So you can see right here, very good for office use. During a meeting, you can take notes, save it instantaneously. It can even come up on the screen if you have that enabled as well. And as I mentioned before, you can see right there checking the envelope to send an email. Now it saves and categorizes all the notes you take by date, time, location, and tags that you can assign to the note. So it makes it so it's very easy to search up at a moment's notice. You can also see here it's not only good for writing notes, it's also good for artistic purposes, for drawings, and for diagrams that you might want to make as well. So it really does do it all.
Okay, real quickly, and the ink is interchangeable. You can actually, not interchangeable, but it is replaceable.
It's regular D1 cartridge ink that you can replace at any time. And the pen itself will last for around 5 hours on a single charge. So.
Okay, I believe we have this one hooked up with Minjung over there.
Right, everyone knows that I love doodling, and I want to doodle Jesse Day's future girlfriend. And this is, yeah, so you better look
there you
forward
go. Something's
to this.
happening right here. It's going on right here.
Yeah.
And then we can see this
smiling at you. She has a little ribbon on top.
Okay, wow, that's actually quite good.
It's quite a range because we are a good maybe 6 to 7 meters away from Minjung right now, and this is collecting all the data as we speak.
Wow.
Minjung, why don't you go ahead and email that?
Drawing, so. Hi, Jesse. Maybe you can write a little love note
into the drawing.
So my future girlfriend is a singer?
she's singing for you.
Great.
Love, Jesse.
She's not
you misspelled his name.
Yeah.
Oh my. Sorry, Jesse, about that.
It's okay. My name is actually spelled with an E at the end, but thanks. That's fine. Yeah. Okay, great. Well, yeah, you can see that quite innovative and very cool, and something that's very useful. Wow, thank you. What's her name?
Is she cute?
Jessica. She looks wonderful.
Jane.
Jessica, how perfect.
Okay, now so we've looked at that pen. It is a great item. I think it's amazing how the paper is working interchangeably. Now let's move on to this one. Now this looks like the Google glasses over here.
Yes,
and
it does.
This looks like the eyeglass technology that we're seeing these days.
That's right, but the difference with this is it's actually a virtual mouse pointer for smart glasses technology. So it allows you to use your finger as a mouse pointer when enabled with any smart device as well.
So all you have to do is put that on, right?
Yep.
And why don't you hold this out? Is this connected somewhere? Or maybe we could get a close-up on this and basically I'll go ahead and put
So the
that
first
on.
thing you want to do is align your finger with the red hand you can see right there. So you align it there first so that it activates.
Okay,
and then once it activates,
there's my hand right there, right? And then you can actually use it as you're mentioning. Go ahead now, give us a play-by-play.
Yeah, so as you can see right here, as you move your finger around, that green dot is the mouse pointer.
Wow.
Now to click on something, you don't need to make any special gesture. You simply need to hold that green dot over what you want to click on for a second, and it will automatically recognize that and click whatever you want. So you can see right there that was a phone book application where it was searching for phone numbers, but it's quite easy to use and quite innovative. And the real advantage it has over other smart glasses technology is they usually use voice recognition technology, whereas this uses motion recognition. Now, voice recognition, while cool, is kind of inconvenient when you're in public, telling your Google Glasses to do stuff. You look like kind of a dork.
Well, I look like a dork right now.
Well, I don't know. You look cutting edge.
Who should I call? Bob, Benjamin, or Aiden? Who should I call? Aiden?
Call Aiden and tell him about this brilliant new technology.
Or call Jessica.
call Jessica. Tell her I'm waiting. But yeah, let's take a look at a B-roll, a video clip, to explain all about how this technology works. So you can see, you simply put the glasses on, as I mentioned. You can see right there the green dot that's acting as a sort of a laser pointer in a way. So you can go ahead and, like I said, you just hold your finger in the air for a few seconds over what you want. You can play games with it. There's no spatial restrictions. As long as you have the glasses, you can see playing games on a moving train. So it's very cool, and it kind of puts you in your own virtual world when you have the glasses on.
I'll be honest with you, the gestures right now, I mean, just the moment you put it on, it's not that easy, but it is something that you can actually get used to.
Yeah.
Now for our last and final item, this is sort of an accessory that goes with your smartphone. Jesse, tell us all about the X pointer.
Absolutely. So office presentations, obviously a big deal, and a way to make that more easy and convenient is great. And what we have is a laser pointer by choice technology. This is the first laser pointer developed for smartphones that you can plug in and use with the smartphone device. And if you'll allow me, I'll just step over here.
And I'll step over there.
Yes. So it uses this little USB dongle. It's kind of a little USB key that you can plug into a computer. Then you plug the laser pointer aspect of it into the audio jack of a smartphone that's compatible with Bluetooth 4.0. You download the application and you are good to go. So the first function it has here, as we can see very simply, if you can get a close-up on the screen here, is a laser pointer. You can see right there the laser pointer appears. However, it has more functionality on it as well. It can act as a mouse. You can click the mouse portion of it and move your finger around so it acts as a mouse pointer on the screen. And in addition, you can start or stop presentations. It even has a built-in alarm.
You're pointing that in my eye right now, by the way.
I don't want to blind you. But yeah, it also can start or stop presentations. It has a built-in alarm to let you know when the presentation time is over as well. So it really is a laser pointer that can do it all. Pretty essential these days for the office.
But it's not only a laser pointer. Once you have that hooked up, you can also use this as the as a touchpad option.
That's right, absolutely. You can use it as a touchpad to enable a mouse functionality on it as well. As you can see here, there's a mouse functionality. This is to start and stop presentations. And this is to start the slideshow as well. So a variety of options, perfect for any presentation you want to make.
Okay, so it comes with this.
Yep.
Tell us what this is. Is this sort of a stylus type of touch
Exactly.
pen?
That's its other functionality, which is really great, is once it's assembled like this, it acts as a stylus pen, so you can use it for that as well. So really, it's got about 3 or 4 different functions to it.
Okay, and then this is the charging cord that comes along with it.
Yes, sir.
And then if you do go ahead and point that out, just go ahead and put that in there. This is actually going to charge it too.
Yes.
This is pretty neat. I think this will be my new pen.
You always end up stealing
Of
stuff.
course.
Yeah.
I'm going to steal that pen too. Why don't you come over here and check it out?
Oh, yeah?
This is great stuff.
Right.
I mean, you got to try this.
Yeah, it is a little awkward at first, you're right, but once you get the hang of it, it's almost like a skill you can quickly pick up.
Wow.
And once you do that, here, check this out.
Didn't you want to give it a shot?
But you look kind of stupid.
No, you look beautiful. Oh my gosh.
Style over functionality.
Yes.
You know, what can you say?
So hold this. So you see a red icon, hold your finger out. The glasses might be too big for you. Here, I'll hold that on for you. You good?
With this or?
Your finger, yeah. Do you see?
Not yet. Oh, yes, I see.
Okay, there it is. There it is. See how that's working there?
Huh.
You look hot.
Well,
It's amazing. It's taking 2 of us to keep these glasses on.
Okay, so while Jinju does do this and stick her fingers out in the air like we don't know what she's doing, we're going to have to say goodbye for today's edition of Korea Today.
Thanks for watching, and do tune in the same time tomorrow.
Have a great day. Bye.